going on, Jerome's? So we need to nip this thing in the bud because we've already seen like a groundswell of pondering and ideas of like, hey, bring Kirk Cousins back. No. But long story longer. So Kirk Cousins, who took the money and ran down Hotlanta, got benched. He's been ass. Thank you. He looks all of 36. That Achilles ain't doing well. The arm has no velocity because he's not stepping into his throws, and it just hasn't been good. And the Falcons turning to number 8 overall pick Michael Penix Jr., who can spin it. Falcons still trying to make a run to the playoffs. We'll see. But I think that the Falcons made the right decision. A little bit too late, because they're concerned about optics, and they made a mistake. $110 million fully guaranteed for 14 games. Ain't good, man. But now it opens up a new can of worms. So obviously Cousins isn't going to be back with Atlanta. It's going to be Penix's team next year. But what happens with his contract? Do the Falcons just eat it? He can't. Well, he has a no trade clause, so that could be interesting. Ari Marriott, My Sports Update. Kirk Cousins no trade clause. Try that again, is significant, similar to what Derek Carr did to the Raiders a couple years ago when he used his clause to say, you're not trading me, cut me, pay me what you owe, I'll become a free agent and choose my next destination on my own. Also, his new team wouldn't have to give up draft picks and save significantly against the cap. The Falcons will pay Kirk Cousins $90 million for $10 million for 14 starts, because he does have a $10 million roster bonus if he's on the team on the third day of the new league year. And trading him may be impossible without his cooperation, meaning he could become a free agent again. Falcons fans are just going to love that. Cousins would be able to sign for the minimum with a new team, just like Russell Wilson did with Pittsburgh, and that's exactly it. So wherever Kirk Cousins goes, he can be signed for the league minimum. It offsets versus what the Falcons owe him, and Kirk gets the same money, and the new team basically has a loophole for getting a veteran quarterback on a minimum deal. Now, it's not going to be the Vikings. No, absolutely F that, because obviously it's McCarthy's team, but even the specter of bringing Cousins back as a backup, no, because he simply can't be back, because there's still going to be some Kirk Cousins fans in the organization, and anything that could potentially undermine JJ McCarthy or even Sam Darnold, if the Vikings bring him back in 2025, is just stupid. It's just ludicrous at this point. Plus, I feel like a lot of Vikings fans had their eyes open like me about Kurt, where 6 years here, he was our guy because we had no other choice. But it's like when you get out of a toxic relationship that your friends told you was toxic the entire time, and then you look back, oh yeah, maybe he was just a money grubbing mercenary who won one playoff game. That's it. That's at. All right, and yes, he and Kevin O'Connell had some good times, and O'Connell, the quarterback whisperer, got the best ball out of Cousins' career the 2 years they were together. But Cousins, like we said, took the money and ran down to Hotlanta. And I feel bad for Falcons fans because they were sold a bill of goods. This is basically borderline fraud, although the team was complicit, giving the 4-year, $880 million deal, $100 million guaranteed. It's ridiculous, right? But basically, no. Like, this is not happening, because another team is going to fall for this, right? They're not going to give Cousins huge money, but because of the loophole that they can sign him for the league minimum, a la Russell Wilson with the Steelers this season. And I think that Cousins, some team is going to convince themselves, okay, he's cheap. Even though he's going to be 37, he'll be a year removed from that Achilles. Maybe we'll get a stew going. Now, I think that it could be in conjunction with a rookie quarterback, so Cousins could be the bridge. I don't think you're just pushing all your chips in with 37-year-old Kurt. But where's Cousins going to play next year if not Atlanta? Titans in the mix, Seahawks. I don't know. Will they just jettison Geno? I don't really see that. The Browns make sense because Jameis has shown he's not it. DTR is going to start now. He's not it. Deshaun, they might just eat that contract and move on. And Cousins does have experience with Stefanski if Stefanski remains as head coach. And also, they're going to have to find some sort of cheap way to get through the cap hell that Deshaun Watson's contract is going to rot on them. So using this loophole, Cousins on the league minimum could make some sense. Saints, So the Giants and the Raiders, the 1-2 favorites right now to land Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward in some combination. Then having Cousins as a bridge quarterback, I guess that could make sense. Panthers, no. Jets, Yeah, so I'm really glad that the Vikings aren't even listed. The 49ers would be interesting because maybe the 49ers are just like, we're not paying Brock Purdy $60 million a year and just say deuces. They just go fish in the draft. Try and find another Brock Purdy with the last pick of the draft, and then Kurt is finally reunited with Kyle Shanahan if Shanahan is still in power with the 49ers. I mean, there's so many moving parts here, but obviously Kurt is not going to be back in Atlanta. It's going to be Michael Penix Jr. show, and you're not going to pay him to be the backup and be a distraction. You're just going to jettison him, take it on the chin and move from there. But the Vikings quarterback room next year, it's going to be Darnold or it's going to be JJ McCarthy. There should be no other possible candidate. And if Darnold leaves or is tagged and traded somewhere for big time cash, and then it's going to be, I don't know, Daniel Jones and JJ McCarthy. Because for your backup quarterback, you do want someone who can develop. You don't want someone at the end of the road, which is where Kirk Cousins is. So no. So again, was this even thought about in the back of like the team's mind? Kwesi made the right decision. Kevin O'Connell moved on, and O'Connell's proved that he could work with anyone. But no, this is a very stupid idea. We just want to nip that thing in the bud before it got any traction at all. But he can sign for the league minimum. I do not care. I would rather have Daniel Jones at $8 million to be the backup to JJ McCarthy than Cousins on the league minimum. Just doesn't make any sense at all. But your thoughts are thoughts. No. It's all Skull production value.